Hello, I'm Catalina. I'm lecturer at Bucharest Academy of Economic Studies, and today I'll talk about recruitment and selection in services organizations in Romania. The purpose of this presentation is to show a new perspective on recruitment and selection processes used in Romanian organizations by contrasting the answers given in a questionnaire by employees with those given by employers. Before talking about the results of my research, first we need to have the same understanding about recruitment and selection. Recruitment is the process of attracting suitable candidates. It stops when we have a pile of CVs in front of us. Selection is the process of choosing the most suitable candidate for a vacant position. It starts with sorting CVs. Also, we should be aware of the importance of recruitment and selection, and the chain of causality can help us in this regard. We can agree that nowadays, in order to be successful, organizations have to put together an emotional experience for their customers. The chairman of FedEx, for example, once said that they thought they were selling transportation of goods, but actually they were selling tranquility. Providing a service in order to obtain profit frequently places employees and customers in a physical, organizational, and/or psychological proximity. They have to interact. This interaction plays a major role in the satisfaction of customers. Therefore, the key in the competition is represented by employees who are able to make a difference in the use of resources and enable organizations to provide competitive goods and services. Consequently, it is vital to invest time, thoughts, and money in recruitment and selection efforts to ensure that the right people are employed. Now we can move to the second part of the paper, the research. My research consists of two studies grounded on questionnaires distributed on paper and online. One of them uncovers the perspective of employees, and with 441 valid responses, it is representative. The other reveals a perspective of employers, and with only 72 responses, it can be just exploratory. Romanian human resources specialists were not that willing in providing information. I based my research on three hypotheses. The first one states that the most used recruitment methods in Romanian services organizations are recommendations. In order to verify it, I asked the employees how they had found out about the position they held at the time. The majority indicated recommendations either from a current employee or from another contact person, and also ads on recruitment websites. The same ranking I obtained from employers. The value of the statistical test chi-square indicated a significant difference between choices. Thus, the first hypothesis is verified. The second hypothesis aimed the selection process, considering that the most common stages of selection are sorting CVs, testing, interviewing, and integrating. Most of the respondents, both employees and employers, marked the stages indicated in the hypothesis: CVs, tests, and interviews. Other possible steps, as for example using a specialized recruitment and selection organization or verifying references, were less common. Here it is worth being noticed the different views with respect to a formal integration program. 67% of the employers stated that they had organized such programs, while only 27% of employees were conscious about their existence. The last hypothesis focused on the fact that discussing negative aspects of the job during a behavioral interview would lower the turnover. This hypothesis encompassed correlating three terms: behavioral interviews, realistic job previews, and turnover. In order to evaluate the usage of behavioral interviews, employers were asked if they had used this type of interview, and employees had to say if during interviews they had given examples of situations to illustrate specific skills. 57% employers said yes, compared to only 30% employees. Going further to realistic job reviews, 28% of the employers discussed about negative aspects of the job during interviews, while only 15% of the employees remembered hearing about negative aspects of the job. Turnover was measured with the aid of an agreement-disagreement statement. I think I'm going to change my job in the next 12 months. 41% of the employees consented to it, totally or partially, and 20% were undecided. A high percentage, I would say. When looking for a connection between these three terms, the Pearson coefficient turned to be very low, indicating a weak correlation. In conclusion, the first two hypotheses were verified. In my opinion, there is still need for further research regarding the third hypothesis, and there are certain differences between employees and employers' perceptions regarding recruitment and selection. Thank you for your attention and feel free to comment and ask questions.